My sisters and my brothers, it's costing you money. You are being cheap. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, The Bulletproof Life. It's your girl Ronke Odewumi, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 6 ways being cheap is costing you. If you're a regular on my channel, you probably know that I'm a big fan of living frugally, of spending less than you earn, living below your means so that you can create wealth. Now, while I'm a big fan of being frugal, I consider myself a frugalista. I'm not a fan of being cheap. And if you don't know the difference between being frugal and being cheap, it's time for you to watch the video where I talked about the differences between the two things. There's a big difference between being frugal and being cheap. So today we're going to talk about how being cheap is costing you. Now, before we go into talking about how being cheap is costing you, can you take a moment to smash the like button for me? Once you do, YouTube is going to keep sharing my video with other people like you. So please smash, press the like button so that this video can get more viewing. So what are the 6 ways being cheap is costing you? The first way, and you probably don't know this, is by buying more than you need, aka buying bulk. You're probably frowning now and thinking, but Ronke, you always say we should, save, and buying bulk saves me money because it's cheaper. Sometimes buying bulk saves you money. Sometimes when you buy bulk, you're buying at a cheaper price. And you will always know if you're buying at a cheaper price because they will tell you how much what you're buying is per kilo or per gram so that you can check that price with the price of buying in singles, and that way you actually know if buying in bulk is saving you. Now, one of the places where a lot of us buy in bulk is Costco. Costco is a standard favorite for many of us, including myself. I love me some Costco shopping. You go in there, you're buying everything in bulk, the tissue, the cling film, the meat, the juice, the giant nappies, the giant this, the giant that, everything. You are stocking up your house for the next 3 months. Now, the problem I have with buying in bulk, while it saves you money at the time of purchase, is that it encourages you to be wasteful. If you have bags and bags of tissue under your stairs or in your garage, you're going to roll it a little bit more because you've got loads. You've forgotten how much you paid for it now, and you're using it quickly because you can afford to. When you have that big box of industrial cling film, you're just putting it, and that way you're being wasteful. At the end of the day, you're not saving money. So you might be cheap by buying bulk, but you're not saving money because you are being wasteful. Now, the other thing is because you're buying bulk, you're buying more than you need, and then things will expire. You know that thing where you go to Costco and you see 12 boxes of cereal going for the price of 7, and you're thinking, oh my, this is fantastic, I love it. And then you buy 12 boxes of children's cereal for the price of 7, and then your darling children, after eating 3 or 4 boxes, decide they don't like it anymore, and then they leave you to eat the cereal, and then you yourself go at the cereal for a while, and then you get tired, and then the remaining 6 boxes actually expire, in your garage because nobody's going to eat them. You have actually spent more now because you've paid for 7 boxes because you save money on 5. You've enjoyed 3. You've struggled through another 3, at the price of 7. So it's actually costing you more by buying bulk. So the one thing I want you to consider when you're shopping is whether you need to buy bulk. When you buy bulk of something that you truly need, you are being frugal. When you buy bulk of something that you don't truly need, or you don't need that amount, you're never going to use that amount. You're just being cheap. And it's costing you because you're paying more. The second way that you're being cheap and it's costing you is by buying things you don't need. You go to the shops and you see a basket of things that have been priced down because they're about to expire or because they are close to their, use by date or something. They're not things you normally eat. They're not things you normally use. But because you're being cheap, you've seen them, they are close to free. You think you're getting a bargain. You rush and you buy them. You take them home, you dump them somewhere, and then you don't use them. What you've simply done is thrown money away. What you've simply done is giving money away to the shops. You've helped them get rid of something that they will have had to bin by paying for it, and then you're not even using it. So when you're buying something from the shops that you don't need, simply because it's been priced down, it's 2 for the price of 1, it's being sold at 70% off, but you don't need it, you don't have a use for it, and you buy it. Brothers and sisters, let me break the news to you. You're cheap and it's costing you. Because that money, you could have used it to buy something that you actually need. So the next time you go to the shops and you see something that's been priced down or that's 70% off that you don't normally use or you don't normally need, this is what you do. You look away. You look away because otherwise you're about to be cheap and it's going to cost you. The third way being cheap costs you is when you buy things that don't last. When you buy fast things, when you prioritize quantity over quality and you just buy it because it's cheap, and then in 2 weeks they are out of commission, in 3 weeks they're out of use, they are spoiled, and you have to put them aside and buy them again, then being cheap is costing you. If you buy a winter coat that lasts only one winter, you are being cheap and it's costing you, because you're going to then buy a coat every single winter when you can have a coat that will last you 4 or 5 winters and will keep you warm, because you've gone for quality over quantity. So when you buy things that don't last, they cost you more at the end of the day. You think you are being cheap at that point because you're buying something cheaply, quickly, let me just buy it. But are you getting value for your money? Is it quality? Because if it's not quality, you will go back to the shop and repeat that purchase. It will cost you time, it will cost you effort, and then you're going to go back and spend more money. So at the time you are buying it, make a quality purchase. I have a rule of thumb, and it is to buy the best quality I can afford at all times. So if I want to buy myself a new microwave in my kitchen, I have the option of a 30-40 pound one, and I have the option of a 200 pound one, and I have the option of a 150 pound one, and then I have the option of a 600 pound one. And the question for me is, do I buy the 30 pound one or do I buy the 200 pound one? Because the 600 pound one is completely out of my pocket range. So first of all, I think about what is the highest quality I can afford. If the 150 pound one is going to give me more quality than the 50 pound one, I'm not even going to look at the 50 pound one at all, even though it's cheaper. Now, if the 200 pound one is not going to give me considerably better quality than the 150 pound one, then I'll go for the 150 pound one, because it's giving me quality while saving me the 50 pounds that I would have spent extra on the 200 pound one. So I hope you understand what I'm saying now when I say try and go for things that will last. When you buy things that don't last because you are trying to be cheap, it's going to cost you. This applies to clothing, it applies to electronics, it applies to furniture, it applies to really a lot of things that we purchase, that we consume. You need to look for value when you make purchases instead of just trying to be cheap in terms of price. So that is another way being cheap costs you. When you buy things that don't last, you keep going back and making your purchases all over and all over again. The other one is when you buy things that don't work. I don't even understand why you buy things that don't work, but a lot of us do it. You go to a shop that's not a reputable shop. They are selling the fake version of something, and it's something that has a function. It's an electronic thing, and then you buy it, and 2 days later it stopped working. This is not even an issue of it's not lasting. It's a case of it's not working at all. You've gone to the shops and you want to buy a phone charger. That's like the simplest example I can think of. And they have the original, that's what they call it, isn't it? The ones that are going to last and last and last and it's going to work. And they have the not original, just buy it. It's from that Asian country where everything comes from. And then you take it home and it's not working at all. You've been cheap and you bought a dirt product. Now, in a place like the UK, you can get your money back. You take it back, you get your money back. You return it, you get your money back. If they don't want to give you your money back, you can quote the Consumer Rights Act and they have to give you your money back. Your statutory rights are protected when you make purchases online or even in store and they don't work. So being cheap and buying things that don't work is going to cost you, because then you have to go to the trouble of going back again and getting the one that's going to work. And in some countries, they won't even return it. To my Nigerian audience, you know how this works. In Nigeria, if you bought something and you've left the shops and you've gone home, it doesn't matter how. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's your business. You bought it. So that's another thing you need to think about when you're trying to be cheap. Be cheap when you make purchases like that can cost you, because you will end up with things that don't work and you will lose money. So when you make your purchase, go for the original. Go for the one that is going to work, and also shop in reputable shops, reputable outlets where you can have some recourse to refunds and things like that, especially in a place like Nigeria where refunds is not the culture. Now, when you're cheap, what you also do is miss out on the things you actually need, the opportunity cost of things. So let's say you have £100 and you've gone to the shops and you found some things that are cheap and cheerful and affordable, and you spend your £100 on them. That is £100 that you could have spent on something that you actually need, that's going to give you value for money, that's going to last you, that's going to, save you effort, save you energy, help you conserve time. So when you spend on cheap things, when you are cheap with your money, when you are cheap when you spend or purchase services, that is money that you could have spent to get quality. So opportunity cost. You're actually missing out on things that can help you, that can serve you, and things that can be useful to you. So that's another way being cheap costs you. Being cheap prevents you from spending on the things that matter. It prevents you from spending on the things that you really need. And finally, the last way being cheap costs you is that it impacts your health. This is the biggest one. My favorite example, the winter coat example. When you're being cheap and you buy a low quality winter coat, a winter coat that has no wool in it, polyester and some other acrylic fabrics that can keep you warm, and you buy that winter coat and it doesn't keep you warm. You catch a chill, you go out, you catch a cold, you start sniffling, wondering if it's coronavirus or just the flu. It impacts your health because you are being cheap. So when you go to buy your winter coat, buy the coat that will keep you warm and that will serve you for more than one winter. So when you are cheap, it can impact your health. Another example of being cheap, which can impact your health, is when you buy low quality mattress, low quality beds. Buy the best quality bed you can afford. When you want to buy your mattress, buy a good one. You're going to sleep on it. Your sleep matters. If you don't sleep well, you're lying down in a funny way and your body aches, you can't go out and make that money. You can't budget. You can't invest. You can't work hard to make the kind of money that you're going to invest. So buy good quality mattresses. Don't scrimp on the kind of things that will impact your health. So being cheap with your money can impact your health. So what I'm trying to say with this whole video, with these 6 ways being cheap can cost you, is simply don't be cheap, be frugal. That's what you want to do to create wealth. Be frugal. Don't forget to watch the video where I talked about the differences between being cheap and being frugal, because it's going to help you understand this video you just watched a little bit more. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do it by pressing the red button on the right. There's over 1,400 of us now loving this place, hanging out together in the Bulletproof community. Let's take it to 2,000. Let's spread the word. Let's bring in more people into this Bulletproof circle where we are being frugal, we're budgeting, we're saving, we're investing. We're doing big things together with money so that we can create generational wealth while also preparing for our future lives when we are older and no longer willing or able to work. Until my next video, you take care of yourself and keep living that bulletproof life. Bye-bye.